She had no idea I was aware. That was the strangest part. Every morning at breakfast, I sat across from her, watching her scroll with that carefully crafted smile. I studied it. The same smile she wore the day we first met. The same one she wore while lying straight to my face. I said nothing. For 3 weeks, I carried the truth around like a weight pressing into my chest. I knew more than she could imagine. I knew his name. I knew the hotel. I even recognized the fragrance she wore, because it wasn't mine. It was his favorite. I'd told her once I didn't care for floral scents. She just grinned and said, "It's growing on me." That should have been enough to stop me in my tracks, but I let it slide. She believed I was still clueless, that I bought the story of late work meetings and her sudden love for evening Pilates. But I had already read the messages. I had already seen them together, fingers intertwined as they walked into that hotel like they were free of consequence. I didn't confront her. Not yet. That was the power I held, watching her without her knowing. I noticed everything. The hesitation in her answers, the quick glance at her phone, whenever it lit up, the way her whole body leaned toward the sound of a text, like her pulse lived in those notifications. And the boldest part, she still kissed me goodnight like nothing was wrong. I played along, helped her chop vegetables, listened to her talk about her day, even planned a small trip for us. What she didn't know was that I had already arranged another meeting, one with a lawyer. The day she claimed she was at a team event, I was signing papers. That night, when she crept back into bed, I stayed perfectly still, pretending to be asleep. She let out a breath like she'd gotten away with something, smug in her secret, but she was already cornered. The next morning, I poured her coffee exactly the way she liked it. Almond milk, 2 shots of vanilla, a single spoon of sugar. She strolled in wearing my shirt, smiling like she was still winning. Maybe she believed her world was intact. She was wrong. I waited until breakfast was over. I didn't want drama or shouting. I wanted an end. She was rinsing her mug when I said it, casual as if I were suggesting a walk. We need to finish the divorce. She froze. The water kept running, her hand still under it, but she didn't move, shoulders stiff, back straight. Finally, she turned, pale face, lips parted. "What?" she whispered. I repeated it. Calm, direct. "We need to finalize the divorce. I've already talked to a lawyer. You'll get the papers this week." Her eyes flickered, tried to find a way in, searching for a crack in my resolve. I pulled open a drawer and laid down a folder on the table. Screenshots, receipts, conversations. She didn't look right away, her gaze clinging to mine, waiting for me to snap so she could twist a narrative. But I gave her nothing. When she finally lowered her eyes, reality crashed over her. She touched the pages carefully, as if they burned. She read her own words, the text calling me dull, the one saying I'd never leave. That part hurt most. Her lips moved, but no sound came until a faint, desperate, "I can explain." "No," I said evenly. "You can't, and you don't need to." That broke her. The mask fell. The clever, untouchable version of her dissolved into someone fragile and lost. "I made a mistake," she cried. I almost laughed. Misplacing your keys is a mistake. Overcooking pasta is a mistake. What she did was deliberate. Repeated choices stacked one after another. I told her I'd be leaving that weekend, that the house would be sold, and everything else handled legally. I wasn't angry anymore, just finished, and that, more than anything, terrified her. Not the divorce, not the paperwork, not even the proof. What scared her was my calm, the quiet, the fact she hadn't broken me the way she imagined. She begged, she wept, she clutched at promises of ending it, insisted it meant nothing, called it weakness, a phase. But it was too late. The woman I loved no longer existed. I walked out with only my keys and my dignity, leaving her collapsed on the kitchen floor. For the first time in weeks, I felt free.